this video, I'm just going to go through the 3 ways that you can critically reflect in EarlyWorks. And these 3 methods are through the reflections of pedagogy, program comments, and evaluations of experiences. So we'll start with reflections of pedagogy. Now, to get to reflections of pedagogy, you just go to admin on the menu, and then we just select here, view reflections of pedagogy. And I'm going to go into a reflection that's already been done just to talk you through this little process. Basically, all that you need to do is choose the program that you're reflecting on. So to choose a program, you just use the downward arrow there. This person is reflecting on the daily routine. In here, you would put in your personal reflection. So this is where you would be reflecting on an aspect of the program. And you might also, in this box, you might also use this as a place to relate to theory as well and philosophy, maybe the philosophy of your service. So this person has said, I've been thinking about how we organise our lunch tables. I've noticed that some of the new kindy children are very quiet at lunchtime and are eating very little. This makes me wonder if they are not feeling safe and secure in the new kindy environment. I think we can learn from this. Next time we need to allow for a longer transition period between changing from the toddler to kindy room. I'm wondering if we can support our current new children by making the lunchroom more conducive to eating. Maybe we could involve the children by letting them pick flowers and have them on the tables. Maybe even make some placemats. Making their own personal placemats might make them feel more like they belong in the kindy room. So that's the personal reflection. Then what the educator has done is linked to their most relevant principle, practice and standard. And if you want to, you can include this reflection in the services group evidence list, and if you do that, it will be included under the quality area that has been ticked here. So this educator has related this reflection to Principle 1, secure, respectful and reciprocal relationships, Practice 2, responsiveness to children, and Quality Area 5, relationships with children. Then, once the educator has finished the reflection, then the educational leader or director or whoever provides feedback on the reflections of pedagogy would provide that feedback in this feedback box. So Kim Johnson has said, I really appreciate your thoughts here, Emily. This is something that would be good to bring up at our next staff meeting. From your observations, it's clear that we didn't do enough to transition the children comfortably to the kindy room. Definitely we need to review this for next time. I also like your ideas. We could also let the children choose music to play during meal times. Ensuring the children feel safe and secure is so important in them developing confidence to grow and learn. Then we have a third box here, the educator's response. This is really a space for the educator to then reflect on the feedback that they've received from their manager and any changes that they made as a result of that feedback. And it's really important, this third box actually, because when the ratings and assessment process happens, the assessor will likely be looking for evidence of how this reflection and this feedback has impacted upon the educator's practice. So how has this impacted on the way that the educator does what they do in their room with the children? And this is the space to write about that, to reflect on that. There's one more thing that I'll show you here on the reflections of pedagogy. That's the extend button. And for those of you who have viewed our other videos, you'll be quite familiar with the extend button by now. What this does is turns this comment here, this reflection, into the narrative of an observation so that it can then inform the program. So I just click on extend, and then you can see that it's been added, or it will be added to the daily routine program, which was the program that's being reflected on. The title, it will actually stay extended from personal reflection by the educator. So you've got evidence there of that reflection actually having an impact and informing the program, and then the narrative. The good thing here is that this narrative, which has been taken from this first box here, the educator's reflection, can be edited when you turn it into an observation. So you might not want all of that to be included in the observation. You may only want part of it. And once you've saved the observation, it will save to that program, to that daily routine program, and then you can go in and finish it off and then create next experiences to build on this observation. So you've got rock solid evidence then of this reflection of pedagogy actually informing the program. So that's reflections of pedagogy. One more thing to be aware of with these reflections is that educators cannot see other educators' reflections of pedagogy. They're only visible to the educator who entered the reflection and anyone who has admin access to EarlyWorks. Families can't see these reflections. Okay, the second way of critically reflecting through EarlyWorks is by using the program comments function. Now to get to that, I just click on programs, and whatever program I'm wanting to comment on, I just click on the name of that program. So we're going to go into the June program, and then I get to the edit program screen and I click on comments. So the reflections of pedagogy were really an individual reflection. Program comments is a space for educators to be able to reflect together, so to be able to have conversations about how the program is going. And this is really providing evidence then during that rating and assessment process again of all educators' voices being heard, and also that collaborative partnerships happening so that educators are actually working together on building the program. It's not just, the room leader that's making all of the decisions. So for example, here we've got one educator, Emily Rose again, who said, "The children were amazing today at both naming colours and identifying beginning sounds. When I read brown bear, I was amazed to find that most of the children were able to correctly identify the animals in the story. This was after we had read the story, which does name the colours, but it made me think that now might be a good time to explore colour, maybe with the colour of the week." And then another educator has responded to that and said, "That's a really good idea, Emily. We've been focusing so much on getting the veggie patch up and running that I don't think I've been noticing children's milestones so much, including naming colours. I think having a colour of the week is a great idea. Maybe we could add that to our calendar too, so the families know and can follow up at home." And you've also got the option, like you did with the reflections of pedagogy, of turning any of these comments into an observation that would then inform the program by using this extend button. And again, you can edit that. So you might not want to have all of this included in the narrative. You can always edit it. That's not a problem. And when you click add new comment, you'll notice here that it says comments added here are not available to families. The only people who can see these comments are educators that are assigned to this particular room and administrators. So again, it's really a private space for educators to be able to chat. And it's brilliant if you have educators who are part-time, because that means that your educators that might be there on Monday and Tuesday can have conversations with educators that they might not physically see, who might be there on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. So then you've got evidence then of that beautiful collaboration happening between all educators in a room. So that's the second way of critically reflecting in EarlyWorks. The third way is through the evaluation of experiences. So to get to that, we would just go into the program that we're looking at, and let's just look at the June program. And if I click on experiences, I'll see all of the experiences for this program. I'll go into one where there's been an evaluation of the experience. So I'll go into this one. So basically what you would do is, once you've actually carried out the experience, so this one was planting out seedlings, educators can go in and do an evaluation of how effective that experience was. So if you were to repeat the experience, what might you change? What worked? What didn't work? You might also look at what, maybe there were some unexpected outcomes that happened as a result of that particular experience. You could also include those in here if you wanted to. So an educator has gone in and said this experience resulted in some unexpected outcomes, such as awareness of fairness, showing up seedlings to plant, and transferring of knowledge from one context to another. Needing a scarecrow, as one of the children's uncles has a scarecrow on his orchard. And then, as said, the seedlings waiting to be planted acted as a really effective provocation. There was so much interest generated and lots of wondering. It would be good to think about how we build on this with other experiences where the materials can be left for the children to explore and be curious about. So you can see that this space could be really quite powerful in engaging in some quite deep reflection on the effectiveness of that particular experience. So the evaluation of learning happens in the observations and the journal. So that's the evaluation of the children's learning, and there are links to those evaluations there. The evaluation of the effectiveness of the actual experience can happen here in the evaluation of experience box. And one last thing I'll just show you is when we go into the program, you can see that evaluation, if it has been done, if there's been an evaluation of the experience, it will be included in the evaluation column. And families don't see this column, evaluation column, when they view the program. So it's a space that's private to educators and administrators. It's not visible to families. So that is the 3 ways of critically reflecting in EarlyWorks through reflections of pedagogy, program comments, and evaluations of experiences.